From a player eating raw cow hearts to a diet that almost ended Messi's life, these are the weirdest things footballers actually eat. And first up, Jamie Vardy's pre-match ritual that should have ended his career long before it even started.
I wake up in the morning, Red Bull.
Straight away, out of bed.
Vardy's career should have been impossible. Back in 2011, this dude was playing non-league football at Stocksbridge Park Steels, getting paid basically nothing, and going up against guys twice his size. He was skinny, weak, and had sticks for legs, but somehow he made it work. But when he finally got a shot in the Premier League with Leicester, you'd think he'd start hitting the gym and hire nutritionists like every other pro. Nah, man, Vardy said screw that and decided to do the complete opposite. In the middle of Leicester's miraculous 2016 title run, this man revealed that the night before every single match, he would drink a whole bottle of dessert wine. On match day, he'd wake up and immediately chug a Red Bull, then another Red Bull, then a double espresso, then a third Red Bull minutes before kickoff.
I wake up in the morning, Red Bull.
Straight away,
out of bed.
Okay.
Literally, I get out of bed, get the kids up, go downstairs, get them the breakfast sorted, and I'm straight in to get a
Red Bull.
His teammates and coaches were beyond shocked because how could a man running on pure caffeine and superstition somehow outrun defenders half his age?
Oh, Jamie, still got it.
Yeah, still managing to.
But here's the crazy part. It worked. Vardy became the top scorer during Leicester's insane Premier League title win and got his first England call-up at 29. Even now, at 39 years old, this man is still out there scoring goals in Serie A for Cremonese. But if Vardy's diet sounds crazy, wait until you see what this next player keeps in his freezer.
Start with a fat side down. This is going to be the best.
When Haaland broke into professional football at Molde, he instantly became one of the most exciting teenagers in the game. He was scoring for fun and looked destined to play in one of Europe's elite clubs. Despite his impressive form, Haaland knew he needed to bulk up fast if he wanted to compete against the Ramoses and Van Dijks of this world. But instead of hitting the gym as every other normal person would do, he turned himself into an absolute freak of nature. And the way he did it is where things get weird. This man keeps frozen cow hearts and cow livers stacked up in his freezer like he's preparing for the apocalypse.
Start with a fat side down. This is going to be the best because it's the fat. It's going to be crispy.
Yeah, you heard that right. Haaland straight up eats raw organs for breakfast. His teammates started calling him the Bear because of how he eats. We're talking 6,000 calories a day of raw liver, raw heart, massive tomahawk steaks, ribeyes, eggs, honey, and his favorite, which is raw milk. He drinks glasses of raw milk every single day and calls it a superfood for his gut, skin, bones, and muscles. And listen, I know this sounds insane, but the results speak for themselves.
195.2 centimeters.
Once Haaland committed to this caveman diet, he became unstoppable. He broke the Premier League single-season goal record with 36 goals, won the treble with Manchester City, and became one of the world's most feared strikers.
This is my biggest dream, and I did it, so it's unbelievable.
Now at 25, this man's not slowing down. He just signed a contract extension through 2034 and is still terrorizing defenders. And now that we've seen players drinking Red Bull before matches and eating raw organs, we have to take the insanity to a whole new level. I'm talking about a diet that turned Ramos into a beast and a player who retired at 32 because he couldn't stop eating burgers. But before we get to those, we have to see the meal that almost ended Messi's life. When Messi arrived in Barcelona in 2003, he was just like any other 18-year-old kid whose eating habits were the least of their concerns. I'm talking pizza, candy, and cookies. Messi was literally addicted to junk food, and as the years went on, his diet only got worse. It was rumored that if someone put fruit, vegetables, or salad on Messi's plate, he'd literally walk out of the room. After playing in a game, instead of eating something nutritious or drinking a protein shake, Messi opted for fast food. And worst of all, Coca-Cola. Things were getting bad because Messi couldn't go a single day without soda. And out of nowhere, this became a serious problem. He went years without taking care of his health, and every single day he woke up sick, but still went out there on the field and shocked the world. But after Messi visited his doctor and explained just how bad junk food was taking over his life, the doctors told him that if he didn't change his diet, his career and his life would be over. So Messi vowed to change for his fans, and luckily, he had the right support around him. It started with Barcelona's manager removing every vending machine in the club's training ground. And not long after, Messi hired a nutritionist to force himself into a healthy diet. Ever since Messi changed his ways, he's taken his career to another level.
Por la verdad que he comido durante muchos años, 22, 23, 24 años, no sé.
Comés buenas cosas. ¿Y ahora qué comes?
Y ahora como bien, como pescado, como carne, como ensalada, como verdura. La verdad que como de todo, pero ordenado y bien y...
And will retire as arguably the greatest footballer to ever play the game. But not all players are this lucky. Coming up is a player who also loved junk food. And unlike Messi, it cost him $28,000 and got him kicked off his team. Max was in a predicament while playing with Wolfsburg. He was having one of the worst seasons of his career. And not only was Max playing badly, but this dude's entire life was also falling apart. So you'd think he'd take it easy, right? See, a few months before preseason training, everybody was concerned about Max's diet because he had a weird obsession. This man literally couldn't eat a single meal without Nutella. So his teammates just had to confront him about this because every single one of Max's teammates was trying to get back in shape. So no junk food, especially no weird-ass chocolate addictions. And even though Max's entire team was committed to becoming fit, he still couldn't go a single day, scratch that, a single meal without Nutella. So when Max showed up to training with Nutella for breakfast, that was the final straw. His coach saw just how bad the addiction was and decided it was time to take action. They slapped this man with a $28,000 fine for his Nutella addiction, amongst other unprofessional conduct, and he lost his place in the German national team. But as bad as this is, it's nothing compared to our next player, who openly called healthy eating complete bullshit.
Oh my God, hell no.
When Hazard joined Chelsea from Lille, everybody knew he had crazy talents. His dribbling was world class, and he could embarrass defenders with ease. But there was one problem. The Premier League was brutal, and Hazard wasn't exactly built like a tank.
Cameron's in. Oh, goodness me, the challenge
doesn't matter where the ball is.
If Barnsley's taken him out again, Mourinho is furious. What's the card?
So you'd think he'd buckle down, hit the gym, and clean up his diet to survive, right? Hazard looked at the rulebook, laughed, and threw it in the trash. This man decided he was going to live life his way, and that meant burgers. Lots of burgers.
Quel est le meilleur moment pour manger un burger? Avant le match, après le match ou pendant le match?
Après le match. Attention, après un bon match. Parce que si tu fais un mauvais match et après, ça n'a pas le même goût, tu vois. Quand tu sais que tu as fait un bon match, tu as été bon, l'équipe a gagné, tu manges, tu profites.
It got so bad that Chelsea literally had to ask a burger van near Stamford Bridge to stop selling to him. During a Belgium match against Turkey, Hazard got subbed off and was spotted eating a burger outside the stadium, like mid-game. The King of Belgium even had to tell him to chill out with the hamburgers during a World Cup. But Hazard didn't care. He openly called dieting bullshit and said it was useless unless you planned to play until you were 40. He loved food, champagne, and living the good life. And for a while, it worked. He won 2 Premier League titles, the Europa League, the FA Cup, and became one of the best players in the world. But then came the move to Real Madrid in 2019, and that's when everything fell apart. His relaxed lifestyle caught up with him. Injuries piled up, weight issues became a problem, and he barely played. By October 2023, at just 32 years old, Hazard retired. He admitted he'd lost the love for the game and his body couldn't handle it anymore. Now, he's living his best life with burgers and beers, looking completely different from his playing days. So yeah, Vardy tore up the rulebook and it made him a legend, but Hazard did the same thing and it ended his career way too early. But not every player who takes diet seriously becomes boring. Up next is a player who transformed his entire body with a secret formula and still sneaks in his guilty pleasure every 2 weeks. It all started back in 2003. Ramos came into pro football as a shy, skinny, 17-year-old kid. Everyone knew he was a good player, but no one expected him to be a great one, not even himself. For the next 15 years, however, Ramos dedicated his life to getting better every single year. And that meant completely transforming his body from being skinnier than me to one of the most ripped and legendary athletes ever, all thanks to a secret formula. During COVID, Sergio made his biggest leap, and everybody was wondering how the hell he became so ripped. While most suspected something, Ramos was putting in all these extra hours, all this hard labor, making sure to buy food to turn himself into a freak of nature. Once he found the meals that worked, Ramos dedicated himself to a breakfast of champions. He whips up some coffee, all black of course, then he slams down some whole grain bread with turkey breast, eggs, and fruit. 3 times per week, he goes through his most difficult workouts without eating a single thing. But he ain't a complete psychopath. Just like most people, after work, our boy has to celebrate a bit. And that's when he drinks his favorite, a strawberry protein shake. As far as lunch and dinner goes, he eats some salad, fish, and steak. But listen, I'm not gonna lie to you, man, even Ramos can't fight his guilty pleasure. Once every 2 weeks, Ramos just can't help himself. So he calls up the one man who can deliver his favorite cheat meal, chocolate churros. But coming up is a player whose wife completely changed his life and turned him into a machine. It all began for Lewandowski in 2008. At the time, he was just starting his football career, but he already had astronomical expectations because his parents were star athletes. So coaches assumed it was in his genes to become something extraordinary. But there was one big problem. Lewandowski was a weak, scrawny 17-year-old kid with sticks for legs. So that year, even though he kept banging goals, Legia Warsaw looked at him as a liability and released him. Lewandowski could have let this get to him and just given up, but instead, it only fueled him. From that moment on, he made it his life's mission to go down in history. And once he got a chance to play pro football, there was no way in hell he was going to disappoint. Lewandowski decided to calculate his life to perfection. I'm talking about experiments with his diet, training, and sleep. But in 2013 came the biggest blessing of his life. That year, he found and married the perfect girl. And it's funny because not only was she an athlete, she was known worldwide for being a fitness guru, sleep expert, and a nutritionist. Even though Lewandowski was dominating, she introduced him to the world's best formulas for muscle recovery and peak performance. She told him if he was going to become a legend, he had to cut out the occasional Corona he'd sip with the boys.
Are you serious right now, bro? Are you serious right now?
That also meant cutting out fat, sugar, lactose, and any form of alcohol. Lewandowski knew he had one mission, and anything holding him back from that was pointless, so he rearranged his diet. Nowadays, for breakfast, he enjoys porridge. For lunch, vegetable spaghetti with beetroot juice and fresh spices. And for dinner, usually fresh fish or chicken. Occasionally, his wife lets him throw in some snacks like pancakes, brownies, or his favorite drink, matcha tea. Ever since he dedicated himself to this diet, his physique has been completely transformed. I'm talking so much that his teammates literally nicknamed him the Body. But the final player on this list might have the most extreme diet dedication in football history. And even he has a dirty little secret. When Cristiano Ronaldo arrived on the shores of Manchester United, he was just a skinny Portuguese kid who looked out of place and needed to bulk up. Ronaldo knew that to earn their respect, or better yet, become an all-time great player, it was going to take a whole lot more than skill. He had to be dedicated to the gym and his diet.
Most of the people told me, Cristiano, you are a very, very good talent player, but you are very skinny. So I've improved myself.
So he hired a nutritionist, built his personal gym, and hired a chef, and dedicated the rest of his time in England to being the absolute best. In 2009, when he signed with Real Madrid, Ronaldo wanted to capitalize on the prime of his career, and every time he went to a restaurant, if his steak came out with even a gram of fat, he would get upset with the waiter. That's why Ronaldo has maintained his own personal chef and literally forces himself to eat the same boring meal 6 times per day. I'm talking chicken, broccoli, and rice. Yeah, I know, this man might as well have just been eating paper. But imagine eating that every single day. But hey, that's exactly why more than 2 decades later, it looks like he might not retire until he's at least 60. The dude is literally 7% body fat, which is 3% less than the average football player. And right now, the dude just hit 41. But he has the physique of a 20-year-old. So yeah, the diet works. But listen, man, Ronaldo's not actually a robot. He has a little fun with his son Ronaldo Jr., so they do occasionally bond over some cheat meals, and some of the boys' favorites are movie nights with pizza and ice cream. But as soon as his son goes to bed, he has to torture himself with some extra ab workouts. And hey, as strict as Ronaldo is with his diet, there was that one time CR7 was caught doing something against his own rules. And now the world knows his biggest secret. Even he can't resist the urge for some Kentucky Fried Chicken. But as insane as these diets are, they're nothing compared to the complaints footballers have made. From a player complaining about the wind, to one who complained about the shape of the ball. Click on the next video to see the most outrageous complaints in football history.